So, good evening. Welcome on. It's not the sort of track. It's me. It's just Dan today because everyone's busy. Everyone's got stuff on and life and the like. So I thought I'd come on and chat because I've not been on for a while. And yeah, I thought we'd have a little chat about that. And yeah. So, first of all, hello, people. How you doing? Evening. Oh. It's weird, isn't it? You know, sometimes you've got to be in the right place to watch a TV show. It's hard to explain, but I was talking about it with some friends in a group chat the other day, so I thought I'd talk about it here to get some people's sort of view on this. So, I'm actually currently behind on track. I've not seen Prodigy's past episode 3. I'm still on the season 1 of Strange New Worlds. Now, this is not a brilliant place to be when you're, by the numbers, one of the top 5 or 6 Star pages in the world. And, you know, you go into convention stuff, which, yeah, is a bit of a ritual. It's no secret that, yeah, I've said before, over the last year or so, last 18 months, there's been a lot of mental health issues going on with myself. And I'll be honest, I have some good days. I have some days when I can really function. I have some terrible days. I have days when, you know, I can do 18 hours in bed. And my drive to just sort of sit there and put Trek on, or at least a new Trek, which I want to enjoy, I don't do when I'm feeling sad or feeling down because I don't want it to spoil new Trek for me. Does that make sense? So I go back to the classics. I go back through, you know, cherry picking episodes of TNG and cherry picking bits I like out of DS9 and Voyager and stuff. It's just strange, yeah. But yeah, so if you have been watching the show and you've been thinking, actually, why doesn't he know about the new Trek? Well, that's the reason. You know, it's not easy. But yeah, and it got me thinking about quite a few things actually. It's weird, isn't it? It's hard to sort of snap yourself out of a funk, you know. And yeah, I'm doing the thing where I'm talking to people, and you know, I'm doing the one where I get to speak to somebody on a weekly basis, and I speak to friends as best I can, and here I am bearing my soul to the internet, which is utterly stupid because, you know, it's not the way it was ever said to be done. You know, I was very much brought up that, you know, a bloke's a bloke and you don't share your problems and you get on with it, and yeah. I don't even know what I'm talking about tonight. I'm just coming on to ramble, to be honest. And then people are listening. But yeah, it's just been a bit of hard 12 months. And I was getting there. I was getting to the point where it was making sense. Where, you know, I was talking in tablets and it made me happy. And then the last 2-3 weeks, it's just my mood has just completely hit the floor again. And speaking to the lads that are normally on here, yeah, they were talking about Strange New Worlds. That's it. Thank you. And it's like, yeah, I've not seen it. And it just got me thinking that, you know, it's weird how, like, I should probably make an effort with it. But yes, anyway, enough of my ranting, moaning about myself. Let's have a chat about. So the reason I went through this, or the reason that brought this subject to my head, was like I said, I've been sort of cherry picking episodes. Well, I got to thinking about the first time I saw TNG. So I thought I'd just share the story. So I am a small child. First year, maybe last year of high school, first year of high school, somewhere around there. And back then you had two choices. You had normal television, channels 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 wasn't quite out yet. Or you had Sky. And they used to show Star Trek on Sky 1. They used to show TOS on BBC. I want to say Wednesdays or Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. Anyway. And we had a family friend that had Sky, and he started recording Star Trek Next Gen for me. And every 3 or 4 weeks, he'd give me a tape with 3 or 4 episodes on. So my first foray into Next Gen, there is a point in Encounter at Farpoint where the ship has just arrived at Farpoint Station, but it's just the star drive section because the saucer has been gone off on its own merry way. And that for me is where the recording started. So I'm like, oh my God, this ship looks amazing. Because I'm thinking the Enterprise D is essentially just a star drive section. Yeah, so I remember feeling a bit sad or a bit whimsical. I ended up watching Encounter at Farpoint. I watched Tapestry. I really like Tapestry as an episode. And All Good Things, because that, again, is another one of my favourite episodes. And it's, someone just put it up there, Richard. Everyone needs a safety valve. Yeah, it is. It's sort of my coping mechanism. I've got two. First one is I work. I work far too much. But work to me is a coping mechanism. So I can focus on work. And if I'm focusing on the work and the tasks, then I don't have to focus on, which is why I end up doing like 90 to 100 hour weeks. The other one is, like I said, watching old Trek. But yeah, I'm just trying to find a way to get my head into watching the new stuff. And I know it's the most ridiculous thing. I know I should just press the button and come on and watch it and probably enjoy it. But the question is, what if I don't? What if I don't because my mood? And then that spoils Trek for me. It's completely irrational. I know it's completely irrational. And I didn't even want to talk about it, but yeah, my therapist said, hey, you should talk to people like this. Well, most people I know are either watching this podcast now or watch it at some point or message me. So I'm talking to you all at the same time because it's easier than having 25 separate conversations. So, yeah. I think hi, I'm Dan. I'm not doing okay, to be honest. I mean, I'm ticking along. I'm surviving. And I'm not in the place where I was where I tried something really, really stupid a year ago. But I'm still not myself. At this point, James or Richard would generally jump on and say something humorous and or witty, but they haven't because it is James's birthday. Happy birthday to James. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, just one of those moods today where I'm a bit thoughtful, a bit A lot of stuff sort of going. So let's have a look. Long comment here. Let's read that out. Aaron Telford. When I started watching High School '93, there was TNG on BBC 6 p.m. later, DS9 on BBC 6 p.m. Thursday. The BBC show Voyager. Yeah, I remember that, but it must have been before then when TNG. I was getting it on TV from Sky on tape, on long play extended tape. Yeah, so the quality was atrocious. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to Destination Trek. I'm looking forward to catching up with some friends. The next year will be better. The next year will be better. It has to be. Yeah. Anyway, so let's have a look. What we got? Ticking along the slide is good. Yes, it is, Vicky. Well done. Mark, yes, it is his birthday. Happy birthday, Skipper. Weekday 6 p.m. was always great. It was. There was always great sci-fi on when I was a kid, and stuff that, even now looking back on, I still love. And yeah, like I said, I used to moira this family friend to tape stuff for me. I sort of had a list, and there was Trek on there. There was Andromeda that was on there. There was Farscape on there. Some, that's just that type of stuff was sort of, the Bab 5, sort of weekly. I'm trying to think what else there was. Sequest. Some of that stuff was so amazing. But yeah. All right, so look, Leah says, we watched Voyage to the Future again last night. Classic. It is classic. Yeah, will do. Sky often had snow on the broadcast, and I thought it was part TNG. Yeah, I remember. Linda. I remember when Enterprise came out. Good God. For the record, my parents had not at that point still upgraded to Sky. As far as I know, they never did. But, bit of a weird and wonderful one. Let's have a look. Farscape, of course it was. Red Dwarf, Space Above and Beyond, Star Trek, it was the best. Oh, Vicky, you closet Trekker, you. Adam, DT, we're calling it because we're not allowed to say Destination Star Trek, so it's Destination Trek. But yes, you're right. It'll be great. I'll owe you a drink too. No, you don't owe me a drink. You printed me an awesome badge. No, I mean, you hooked me up with an official CBS license badge that I wore on stage at a CBS event. That was not an Adam Dolphin, much better quality version than the one you could buy. Sequest and The Simpsons, absolutely. Yeah. So I don't mean to come on here and sort of, put a downer on. I don't mean to put a downer on everyone's evening, and I apologise if that's what I've done. It's not my intention to be a pain. You come on for some Sunday night Star Trek nattering, and you get a bloke whinging about how his head's not quite in the right place. Yeah. But Trek has always, I suppose, to a degree, had a point about, mental health. This is sort of my thinking. Because, Troy was, a counsellor. She was, especially at that point, it wasn't really talked about feelings and things, so much on TV. And then you have this lead character whose job was to look after these things in the future. So, obviously gene flow is important. We had a counsellor in Deanna Troi, we had a counsellor in Esri Dax. So Trek's always had that sort of thing. You have the Doctor in Voyager, who was, and I suppose to a degree, Neelix, who was also, the ship's counsellor. Right, comments before I get in my own head, before I make you all hate me. Let's go have a look at this. Richard finally got a DVD of Forbidden Planet. Amazing. DST is over. I doubt DT will happen. It's going to happen. I'm booked for it. Except it's a LobbyCon. Yeah, better not be a LobbyCon because I'm taking loads of stuff down for it. Not the best show to some, but I love Andromeda. Wish I could fit like in my back. I've seen your High Guard uniform. It looks amazing. And Andromeda's got Lexa Doig in it, which who doesn't love Lexa Doig? There we go. Right, Linda had an 8-hour surgery before I recovered. We were so pissed the hospital didn't have you. One show that was weird was Lex the Bug Ship. What the hell was Lex the Bug Ship? I have never heard of that. Ever. I'm a certified geek and I've never heard of that. Okay. I agree, Crystal. Emotional support animals in Trek 2. It's very true, actually. Archer had his dog, who was, Porthos. Spot had a cat, which is weird because Spot's got Data's got an emotional support animal, and he doesn't have emotion. It's just bizarre. Did anyone in DS9 have a pet? I'm trying to think now. Cisco's didn't. The O'Briens didn't have a pet. No pet for Quark. I don't think there's pets in DS9. I'm happy to be correct on that one, but I don't think there is. And then Voyager, Janeway had a pet dog, and she had Harry Kim as well. So, yes. Right. Lex was run by the EU Council with 1,000 different writers and producers. Lex was a short-lived sci-fi show. If I remember right, the ship was alive somewhat, and somewhere between the air and the portal. Oh, okay. And Jonesy. The O'Briens had a cat. Did they? I know Picard's got a fish. I didn't know the O'Briens had a cat. Learn something new every day. And Phlox had an entire sick bit of animals. So, yeah. Okay. So I've just told you about my first memory of watching Trek. What's yours? Come on, jump in the comments. Tell me. Let's share some love tonight. What's your first memory of watching Trek? Like I say, mine was starting. I mean, I'd watched bits in the past, but my first committed watch was I was very young, and it was Encounter at Farpoint, and it starts just as the source drive gets to. Sorry, just as the star drive gets to Farpoint Station. Let's have a look. Yeah, so much. Okay. The cat belongs to Guy O'Brien. Oh, of course it was Bilby. They ended up adopting his cat. Yes, very true. I forgot about that one. Yeah. Well done, Linda. 10 points to Gryffindor. Okay, Luke says, since I'll never watch it, I take VHS before we leave for school in the cornings. I mean, you mean mornings, but yeah. Yes. Yeah. The weird thing, it's My first memory of Trek was rolling around with a Matchbox pretend phaser around the age. But that's brilliant, you know. That is exactly what it should be. You know, and to a degree, and I'm going to sound old at this point. Kids now, especially youngsters, going up to high school, that sort of age, who are into geeky stuff like we all were. I've got it so much easier than what we had it. You know, if you were a geek back when I was a kid, you were a social pariah. You know, but now it's the age of the geek. You know, geek is celebrated, and you know, there's none of this. Not really telling people that you're watching X, Y, and Z, because now everyone's like watching something geeky or something sci-fi or something. You know, it's so much better. You know, just look at the amount of toys and merchandise you can buy today compared to what you could when we were all kids. You know, you kids don't know you're born. Actually true. So, yeah. Let's have a look then. Mark says, Beauty 2, 6 p.m. Wednesday night, TNG Season 1, when the ship gets pinched by aliens. The Binars? The one with Minuet as a holographic character. I think that could be the episode. Yeah, I might be wrong, but yeah. Yeah. So let's have a look. Chester the Cat. Hey Dan and everyone else, is it just me tonight? Yes, it is, Nadim. Yes, it is just moi. Christoph says, you kids got up early. That's what Charlie I'm going to school. Hashtag wow. Yeah, I didn't like getting up early. So we had to used to get a bus to school. And the bus was an hour from the bus stop to my school. It was about, if I did it today, I had to drive. It's probably about 19 miles. I grew up in the very countryside of Wales, like deep in the darkest countryside. Like our nearest town was 7 miles away, and if you wanted any shopping past 8 p.m, you had to go to there, and then the shop was only open until 10. That type of thing. Yeah. But no, we had to be up well early for the bus, so there's no chance I was going to watch Trek early because I always like the snoozing. Yeah, let's have a look. Richard says he's from the timeline of Supercar and Thunderbirds. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And did anyone else, or was it just me who had a rough childhood at school because you were geeky, or you were different? Yeah, it can't have been just me. I mean, I had the double whammy of I was brought up very religious, and that was a great one for people to target you on, and then you're geeky. That's a great one to target you on. Which probably leads on to why I'm as screwed in the head now as I am. Because, yeah. Now, I realise that once I get off the show tonight, you are all probably going to text me or say, "Oh, are you okay?" I am, but I just need some space tonight. So just check in on me tomorrow. But just give me some space tonight, okay? And that sounds horrendous, and it sounds so ungrateful. It isn't. It isn't. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to literally go sleep. So, yeah. Some non-Trekkies asked me a question today. Is the USS Franklin the same class as the NX-01, considering it's a different timeline? That's a very good question. Well, look, NX-01 is NX class. I think Franklin is a completely different class. I'm sure it is a different class. Because they are built at the same time. Maybe. The person to ask on that one would be the Mighty Drex. Yeah. Right, Richard. Score time. God, it wasn't just me. I got picked on because I like Star Trek. I joined the club. I got picked on because you were taller. Alan, that's because you are a giant. You are 17 feet tall. It's true. Alan does the best Mr. Hom cosplay. One of my favourite memories of Alan is his Mr. Hom with his suitcase at Destination Trek. Loved it. Yeah. Yes. Right. Let's have a look. Crystal says, Tuesday I'm going to watch Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan with some of our Austrian fans in an English audio-only cinema in Vienna. I think it's the 40th anniversary of a German premiere delayed by the pandemic. You'd all be welcome to some tickets left, but it's a bit far and a tad late. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to go. Austria sounds fun. Right, let's have a look. Is Alan Giant Spock? No. I've met the Giant Spock guy, and it's definitely not Alan because I saw Alan at the same event. And they weren't together. So, yes. Girls weren't supposed to like sci-fi in my day. Am I right in saying that, the breakthrough sci-fi fantasy for girls, or the one of the big breakthrough moments, would be Twilight? That sort of opened the fantasy / sci-fi. You can sort of bundle those in the same sort of container. Was that one of the first big ones for girls? It was very female, followed more than I'd say male, but I mean, I could be completely wrong on that. Let's have a look. Vienna is a beautiful city. I've never been. Viennese Worlds. Now you got me thinking about food. So, look, I'm going to scoot off for a second. Lynn says she's waiting for Twilight. Uhura is why girls like Star Trek. Yeah, God rest Nichelle Nichols. She did so much more, I think, than she could ever have dreamt initially that she would have done. I mean, if you've read her thing, like she talks about how I was going to go, but I'll start talking about this, about how Dr. King said to her, you have to stay in Star Trek. They're seeing somebody in this that isn't a maid, that you're doing a lot more than you know. And Nichelle said there's interviews where she says that one of the greatest things that she was proudest of was the fact that so many people came up to her afterwards, and especially how the US was in the 60s and 70s with its view on race. And she said, and so many girls had come up to her and said that she was the reason they became doctors and scientists and nurses and all the rest of it. Trek did that, which that's amazing. Trek also did this. Trek let somebody who's not having a good time in his head talk to strangers I've met through Trek, and you're old friends, and it's it is that gift that keeps giving. Yeah. So, like I say, I'm not in the lowest place I was. I'm still not right. And I have some good times and some bad times. I'm in a slump at the moment. And if I'm not talking to you or I've missed a message or I'll apologise to like Liam Dillon. He messaged me 3 or 4 times, and I just haven't looked at my inbox. Or I'll get to it in a little bit. I'm not falling out of you. I'm not ignoring you. If I take a bit to get back to it, it's just my head's how it is. So yeah. So come on, that's what we got. Let's sort of track a bit like that. Okay. Christoph, London has more royal things though, and that's a bit of a heap. London does have more royal things. It's absolutely true. The Shell's most important work was with NASA recruiting astronauts. Yes, I've read that in the thing. Weren't the Sarah Jane Chronicles for teenagers of all genders? No idea if they were before or after Twilight. Also, Princess Leia. Leia's an interesting one, and it's not Star Trek, but we've round back onto this. Yeah, she's a bit badass, but she still starts out as the damsel in distress. Needing to be rescued by 2 blokes. And she gets better, and then worse. But yeah, God bless Carrie Fisher. Yeah. Sorry, Case Field and Christoph says Vicky, Leia inspired women in leadership too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure there are. You've got Alexander Siddig has said in talks at Destination. People come up and tell him that the character of Julian Bashir. Christoph, I saw that. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. The character of Julian Bashir was there so that he's been told many times that that's the reason people have gone into medicine. And I'm sure other characters in Trek have encouraged people to go, or not encouraged, but maybe influenced their life decisions to go into certain lines of work. It's yeah. Now, Nadim says that apparently the reason that Janeway is the best captain is Mulgrew talks about comments she gets from girls all the time, how she inspired them to be scientists. It is weird, isn't it? And with sci-fi and things opening up better now, talking about what we talk about, it's hopefully we'll see more people inspired in the future. Maybe we won't have the embarrassments that we all had growing up, being different. It's who knows what the next person to be inspired will be. Roy says that DST 2018 was his first TrekCon. He was made to feel very welcome among the like-minded new friends. 2018. God, I remember that one. Linda says maybe because girls don't have nearly the amount of role models of their gender. And that's the thing, isn't it? You look at not so much TOS, because obviously in the 60s, they'd already broke the mold by putting a female on the bridge. But you look at TNG, season 1, you had a female chief of security. You had a female chief medical officer. You had a female ship's counselor. All these on the bridge most of the time. A working mother, a single mum was there as well. And you sort of take it for granted. But when you sit and talk about this, you realize the amount of representation they were putting into this. You know, that wasn't really being done in mainstream TV at the time. You know, there was TV programs and comedies and stuff that had it, but they didn't have that sort of, you know, condensed amount in one thing. Does that make sense? You know, and Trek has always been very good at that. You know, and not just females. You know, you had Sisko, who was, you know, a widower with a single dad. You know, struggling to raise his kids. You've got, you know, if you go through season 1, you've got Rom and Nog, you know, who aren't really. Rom's not, you know, Nog's not been to school, and there's an episode where he's desperate to get Sisko to sign his academy letter, and he says, "Why do you want to be in Starfleet?" And he says, "'Cause I don't want to be like my father." And yeah, that's such a powerful thing. You know, it's okay to not be like your father. You know, it's yeah. I mean, Lynn says that in TNG they did have eye candy in season 1, but they didn't get flashbacks. No, but they were still there. You know, it wasn't like, oh, it was a full male bridge and they just, you know, threw a couple in season 3. They were there at the beginning. They just needed more fleshing out, which, I'll be honest, when you go back and do a TNG rewatch, season 1 and 2 are bloody hard work. Yeah. But yeah, it gets better in season 3. And then in 10 years, we're going to look back at Disco and see how it was pushing boundaries. Do you know what? I don't disagree. I know that other hosts on this show are not as big a fans of Disco. But yeah, I mean, the problem with Disco is, and okay, you can discuss matters and raise awareness, which is brilliant. That, no matter what it is, awareness and discussion will always bring matters that people don't talk about normally, bring them out into the open. And, you know, whether you agree with it or you don't, it just get people talking, because discussion is great. And, you know, eventually it becomes more accessible when people discuss. And Disco has been very, you know, good at that. But the problem they got is they realized that they're, you know, that season 1, great. Season 2, but then they just started, you know, properly going for it. And I think that you can sometimes make so much noise that you lose the message. Does that make sense? Sometimes the song needs a solo or a couple of people. When you listen to the full choir, you get distracted from the lyric. And that makes sense in my head. Disco got a little bit too... But yeah, maybe in 10 years we're going to look at it and say, actually, you know, it was absolutely pushing boundaries. And you know what? I've still got a great place for discovering it. I've got discovery stuff up on the shelf. Linda, such a powerful scene. RIP, absolutely. You know, and yeah, I am. You can tell my head's not in the right place because I'm jumping from topic to topic. That, boys and girls, is something that comes with ADHD. Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely a powerful scene. You know, you've got, I don't want to be like my father. And then I want to go into Starfleet. And out of everybody in DS9, I think Nog has one of the best not storyline, but character development. I think absolutely phenomenal is Nog. Because like I said, if you watch episodes 1, 2, 3, 4 of DS9, you know, Nog comes off horrendous. Rom is horrible. You know, the character of Rom is absolutely terrible. And then, you know, the Ferengis get a lot more mellowed out. And you got Rom, who goes from not wanting to learn to going to school to stopping thieving to becoming friends with a human to learning about bigotry, learning about racism, to not wanting to be his father, to go into the academy, to being injured, to going through PTSD. Nog has got such a thing. And Rom had a great character arc too. He went from being absolutely detestable to, we all loved Rom at the end. Even Quark, same thing. Gene was into that. Absolutely. Disco was about LGBTQI and diversity primarily too often and failed to present. But it's still absolutely. And, I've not got an issue with Discovery because, I've said it before on the show, without Discovery, we would not now be sitting here with Prodigy, with Strange New Worlds, with Picard. This was the barometer to are people still into Trek? And we are. And because of that, we've got this we're in this bloody golden age of more Trek than we know can shake a stick at. So yeah, I've got no issues with Discovery, to be honest. I thought the last season dragged on a bit, but they might take some of the learning from that. The next season might be brilliant. I'm not going to knock it until I've seen it. It might be bloody brilliant. In the same way that season 7 of TNG is brilliant. Season 7 of DS9, brilliant. Last season is always an awesome season. So I've got no issues with that. Discovery is going to have an awesome last season because Trek always has had an awesome last season. Enterprise is having a brilliant last season up to about the last episode or two. So, yeah. Richard. Greetings. So, yeah. That's more or less the Trekkie stuff that I've got to talk about. I don't really have, a wish clip to play, and I've not really got the normal features. Like I say, just been me sort of talking and rattling on today. And yeah, like I say, I'm not going to apologise for being in a bad place. Just bear with me, people. I'll get there. So, this is me, Dan, signing off. Take care of yourself, peeps. We'll see you next week.